So this is going to be a continuation from yesterday's video because they are very similar. So it turns out that straight after I recorded that video, the schedule for Quakecon got dropped, and it introduces a quite nice few things to talk about, including the big main event itself that will be happening on the Friday. So yeah, there's quite a few cool things to look at here, so let's get straight into this. So the event will take place on Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Of course, so it starts on Thursday, even though it kind of be just sort of the start of it, but the main event really don't kick off to the Friday and of course Saturday. So Thursday is just going to be a few tournaments here or there. You got the Doom 2 one, you got Elder Scrolls, and you got Quake. I do like watching these sometimes when I can, especially the Doom ones. I always think they're fun to watch, especially how like the classic Doom games are still fun to play on your own, co-op, and of course deathmatch to this day. Awesome stuff. I mean, I think it'd be worth watching. Of course, if you're into Elder Scrolls, I'm not really played much of that, so I can't speak on my behalf, but you've got these events to watch as well. But the main event starts on the Friday, where all the cool stuff will start to begin. So we've got the main thing itself, the Quakecon keynotes, and this time it'll be through once again for Doom Eternal. This will be 11 AM finishing at 12 PM. So that's a whole hour. We've got a whole hour of Doom Eternal stuff right here. This could include, of course, a lot of new stuff. Maybe we're going to get a lot of discussions about Doom Eternal, new gameplay, new modes hopefully, and a lot of other stuff as well. So an hour is a long time to mess around with. They could definitely start talking and showcasing a lot of stuff here. And of course, we're only just a few months away from Doom Eternal itself, so now is the perfect time to do this. And it's kind of the final related event when they can do this as well. Quakecon is definitely the perfect time to build up as much hype about Doom Eternal as possible. So what are they going to showcase here? They got an hour to mess around with. They can do a lot of stuff here. I feel like we're going to see a lot more gameplay. I don't want them to showcase too much relating the story or levels. I'd rather experience that for myself, and I think most people can speak on the same behalf. I like seeing stuff and I love getting hyped, but at the same time I do want to experience a lot of places firsthand, so hopefully they don't like showcase half the game and half the story here, but at the same time I do hope they showcase a few teasers here just to get that ultimate hype ready for Doom Eternal. Another thing they could showcase, and which I hope they really do, is battle mode. Like I said in the previous video, it makes sense because Quakecon is all about the tournaments, so why can't we actually try this out for ourselves? They speak so highly of battle mode. It's replacing both Snap Map and Doom 2016, so it's got a lot to live up to, and it's got a lot of convincing to do with many players out there who still play Snap Map, for example. Now's the best time for them to do this. Now people can try it and see it for themselves. So Quakecon should be the time we get to try this out, and they got an hour to mess around with it, which means to me there's plenty of time to actually look and talk about the battle mode. There should be plenty of things here for them to mention, of course. There should be, hopefully, I feel there's going to be a few new features that they've not talked about yet to make it stand out a little bit more, because at the minute, although it does look kind of fun, it is kind of basic at the same time. So I feel like there's going to be a few other things here or there to throw into the mix as well. And of course, hopefully it pays off for them. I really want it to do well. At the minute, I can't see it being a replacement for both Deathmatch and Snap Map. Deathmatch, maybe. Snap Map as well, no. I feel like it needs to live up to a bit more of the hype than just that. But of course, this might not be the only thing they've planned in this hour. I said an hour is a long time to showcase stuff. They're not going to showcase a whole hour of just one part of the game. Or at least I don't think they will, because then they'll showcase quite a lot. I feel like we've got time for discussions, time for, of course, the campaign itself, battle mode, and maybe even time for a secret mode that we don't know about. I'm still really hoping for this. Really am. I'm hoping there's going to be at least one other mode to try and balance it out. Maybe, of course, this would be something as basic as invasion mode, which I would really like, or maybe there's something else behind the scenes we don't know about. Or maybe they even plan to talk about what the DLCs will be like afterwards. We know we're getting 2 expansion packs year 1. So basically in the first year we're going to get 2 new sets of levels, which is going to be awesome. Maybe they're going to showcase this as well. And for the rest of the events we have the usual stuff, but there's one other thing that sticks out for me, and of course that is the influence of the Doom panel. So basically this is going to be where they're going to talk about the influence Doom has had on the community and games overall. Doom was huge back then. it's arguably more huge now. Not actually because of Doom Eternal, but how much it's actually evolved, or how much the original games have built such a community. I mean, there's such a huge community back in the day, but look at it now. You've got these forums with thousands and thousands of people making levels every single day. If you're a Doom fan, you can't complain, because you're getting so many free levels every day. You're getting mega wads, single wads, mods, everywhere you look, and they're all awesome. Some people so much work into these mods. It's unreal, and of course, I think more people are playing Doom now than there actually ever has been. When Doom first came out, now I think there's more people playing and making classic levels than there was back in 1993 and 94. It's insane. But of course, it's also had a huge effect on other gaming industries and games in total. I mean, it pretty much revolutionised the FPS genre. It didn't create it, it wasn't the first one of course to do it, like I said, but it definitely had a huge effect on FPS games forever. It was literally known as the Doom clone for years before it became FPS. There was games before like Wolfenstein that did the formula before, but I think Doom was one of the very first ones to actually perfect the formula. I think it will forever go down as one of the most popular FPS, or one of the most popular games in general. Everyone's heard of it, from the controversies back in the day to where we are now with Doom Eternal. Everyone has heard of Doom. Millions have played Doom, and of course millions have fallen in love with it. And I think Doom is still going to be a huge influence to this day. Even not just Doom Eternal with these new games, but I think these game publishers and developers can look at the old games of Doom and learn so much from it as well. Doom is huge, and I think it forever will be. Anyway, so that's just a little talk about the panel here. The main event will be Friday, when we get to see this new cool Doom Eternal stuff. They got an hour to mess around with, so I'm hoping to see quite a few new things here at the same time. Hopefully they don't feel too much, but I really want to see some new teasers. I mean, at the minute, there's so many questions, so many, and I hope they just give us that a little bit closer to an answer, like who is the Doom Hunter, who's the Marauder, and of course the latest question on it everyone's talked about, is the Doom Marine and Doom Slayer the same person? I thought it was at first. I thought it was just a rebooted version of the Doom Slayer, but in some interviews with Hugo and Marty, maybe they're actually completely different people, and maybe even the Marauder is one of the Doom Marines. I don't know, but these are questions I really hope they tease a little bit more of an answer with at Quakecon. Anyway, what are you expecting at Quakecon? Awesome stuff? Do you think there's going to be a lot of tournaments, a lot of cool things about Doom, or do you think it's going to be a bit tame, so we don't find out too much information about Doom Eternal? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.